What's up, guys? JP here, back at you with another MMA related video. This is post-fight review slash results for UFC 185. First off, before we get into the card, I gotta say this was a great night of fights, top to bottom. I enjoyed pretty much the whole event, and I definitely feel like it was worth the $60 purchase, even though I was a little bit pissed that the UFC raised their price on their pay-per-views. I did not feel ripped off. I walked away feeling very satisfied. So this one, UFC wins, and hopefully we can continue this momentum and make these cards amazing every time, because I had a lot of fun with this one. Great night of fights. So first up, in the women's bantamweight division, we had Germaine de Randamie taking on Larissa Pacheco, and I kind of made a silly pick on this one because I went with Larissa based off of no knowledge, really. I based it more off of what I didn't like about Germaine. And I was a fool because Germaine came in and really just blew through Larissa. I mean, Larissa offered up nothing at all. Germaine was clearly the more advanced striker and definitely kind of opened my eyes to her technical ability and how well of a kickboxer she really is. So props to Germaine. I'll definitely be more on notice next time she fights, and I'm a little bit more high on her. So good stuff there. Then we have lightweight Joe Duffy, Irish Joe Duffy, facing Jake Lindsay. I picked Duffy in this one. I got this pick correct because Joe Duffy, Irish Joe Duffy, won the fight in the first round with a TKO. And man, Ireland, kicking ass right now. When Conor McGregor came in and fought Marcus Brimage, I believe was his first fight, I was immediately impressed, and he made a name for himself, and I remembered him since then, and I became a big fan of him since then, since his first fight. And Joseph Duffy has done the same thing. I'm definitely going to remember his name. I'm definitely going to be excited when he's on the card, because he came in and just blew the doors off of Jake Lindsay. Very impressive performance, and I was just kind of blown away, and he deserved the hype because he came in and looked really, really good. Then we have flyweights, Ryan Benoit fighting Sergio Pettis. I picked Pettis in this one, and Pettis was looking great, man. He was mixing it up, hitting some good strikes, controlling the fight. Looked really good. It gets clipped in the second round, and it was pretty much over from there. Ryan Benoit just kind of came in and just blasted on him. I was actually kind of pissed off at the way that Ryan Benoit kind of kicked Sergio at the end of the fight. It seemed completely unnecessary. I understand heat of the moment. You're just really frustrated with the way the fight's going, and you're just so happy. But still, man, it made me not like the guy, and I will forever probably not like him based on that. And, I feel like he got kind of lucky on that one. Sergio's really young, and I feel like his number one problem is his defense, because he is known to kind of get clipped. And it's kind of a little worrisome to see him being so young and getting rocked like that and knocked out like that, because it kind of reminds me of these fighters who start out so young and peak really early, and then their career is just kind of tattered after that. I think of Joe Stevenson is a guy who was really young and came in and was doing really well, and just a shell of his former self afterwards. So yeah, I'm a little worried about Sergio Pettis. The knockout was kind of sad because I like Sergio. He seems like an interesting person, and he's just a kid pretty much. So yeah, that was a little sad. So moving on to the preliminary card on I believe FX, we had heavyweights Jared Rosholt defeating Josh Copeland. TKO in the third round. Just this fight was a little boring. Jared Rosholt pretty much controlled it most of the time, and that was pretty much it. He gets the TKO, and just not that entertaining, but he got the win. I got the pick right. So moving on, we have a fight which I believe was catch weight, because Darren Cruikshank missed weight. So we have Benil Dariush fighting Darren Cruikshank. I picked Cruikshank in this one, and he didn't really look good. I was not impressed, and he got submitted. Then we move on to middleweights Elias Theodoros versus Roger Narvaez. I picked Elias, and he wins by TKO in the second round. Mad props to him. It was a little more exciting than his normal fights. So, yeah, I got that pick right. Cool. Then we have lightweights. Ross Pearson defeating Sam Stout. I picked Pearson in this fight. I was correct. And I pretty much saw this fight in my head go exactly how it ended up going, except for in the second round. I mean, Sam Stout just isn't, high caliber anymore. He never really was high caliber, I guess. But, he's getting older. He has a lot of miles on him, and that's what happens. You start getting KO'd, and I really don't see that stopping. So I think Sam Stout's days are pretty much numbered. Then we move on to the main card. We have flyweights Henry Cejudo defeating Chris Carriazo. Cejudo just completely controlled the fight, complete domination. Carriazo had really nothing to offer. Should be interesting to see where Cejudo goes from here. Couldn't get the finish, but definitely an impressive performance. Then we have heavyweights Alistair Overeem, the Reem, facing Roy Nelson, Big Country, and Alistair Overeem gets the win. I picked Alistair Overeem, so I got that pick right. Overeem looked really good. He was very cautious. He wasn't getting ahead of himself. He was landing great knees, like jumping knees to Roy Nelson's body. He lit his body up with some kicks. He was using the oblique kick. Really just putting it all together for an impressive performance. He couldn't get the finish. Roy Nelson's tough. Roy Nelson did crack him a few times, but Alistair stayed calm and composed and really worked hard for that win and kind of, fought really cautious, really smart. And there was some people booing in the crowd and stuff because Alistair would kind of run away at times. I don't blame him at all. He needed to get this win. He needs to be a little more cautious and not get ahead of himself like he has in the past. Pretty impressive performance. I thought he mixed together things well, had a great game plan and executed it. Great knees. Very good performance from Alistair Overeem. He did get tagged a few times, but it's a heavyweight. He didn't go out. He didn't go down, so that's a plus. Then we have welterweights Johnny Hendricks and Matt Brown. I'm a huge Matt Brown fan, so this one was a little tough for me to watch. Hendricks controlled the fight, and that's pretty much all that happened. I don't think that he really did much damage. He really just took Matt Brown down and controlled him, and that was pretty much it. I mean, Hendricks looked good. But I feel like against an opponent like Robbie Lawler, who's going to keep fighting to get up, and some of the other welterweight contenders, this is how Hendricks loses decisions. He just can't do that. He has to go in there and try to win more. Because he looked like the Hendricks of old, and I thought Matt Brown did a decent job on the feet. Hendricks did okay as well, but he just controlled the fight, and that's how he got the win. Good performance, but I just don't see that working against a lot of people. Matt Brown, it worked against, but I think he needs to bring more the next time he fights Robbie Lawler or Rory McDonald, because that's not going to work against Roy either. So yeah. Hendricks gets the win. I picked Hendricks. It didn't go down the way I thought it would, but he definitely got the win. Then we move on to the women's strawweight title fight. We got Joanna Jędrzejczyk fighting Carla Esparza, and my God, I picked Joanna, but I was not expecting that type of performance. I didn't really talk about it in the video, but the reason that I picked Joanna was because I was watching all the UFC embeddeds, and Joanna's confidence was through the roof, and I really started seeing it get under Carla's skin. I thought that Joanna got in Carla's head, and Carla defeated herself before she got in the cage. I'm not saying that she would, if she went in 100% fine, that she would have won anyway. I'm just saying that it definitely didn't help. So that was kind of my main reasoning behind picking Joanna, but god damn it, that was clearly there was much more reason to pick her, and she just put on a striking clinic. What was great, as soon as the fight started and Carla went for a double and Joanna stuffed it, I immediately felt like Carla's um, stance just, you could just see the fear or the confidence just sink completely out of her. Normally when she's waiting to fight, she's walking in the cage, she's standing against the cage, like she's very just stone faced and very serious and just like straight faced and just blinks a little bit. And people can kind of maybe confuse that with being, terrified. But this time, I felt like she still did that, but there was just something else about her that I felt like she wasn't in it to win. And the moment that her takedowns started getting stuffed, she did get one successful, and then stuffed over and over again. And Joanna just did it great. She would stuff the takedown. She would come in with an elbow. It was fantastic. She would push off the head. I was so impressed with Joanna, and I think it's so exciting that she's the champion because she's confident. I really don't see anybody, maybe Jessica Aguilar in World Series of Fighting would be a good fight, but I mean, even though the strawweight division I feel is pretty stacked, Joanna's clearly a very talented fighter. And she ends up getting the TKO in round 2, and Carla just had nothing. It almost looked like Carla was even afraid to throw strikes. She just seemed completely out of it. The energy got sucked right out of her. Very impressed by Joanna. And Carla, hopefully she'll be back, work on some things. And yeah, wow, that was a very impressive performance. And then to top that off, we have another impressive performance in the lightweight division. Rafael dos Anjos defeating Anthony Pettis, and I was completely shocked. Rafael dos Anjos has been one of those guys who have kind of been hiding in plain sight the whole time. I mean, he's really kind of beat a lot of guys and only lost to a couple. He lost early in his career, but he was a much different fighter then. And really, he's only that Khabib fight, obviously, but besides, I was just so impressed with his ability. First of all, he comes in and cracks Anthony Pettis right away, and I even tweeted out that I thought that really affected Anthony's vision, or at least it got in his head, because he was really never with it after that, and he even says that his vision was out. I would be curious to see what would have happened if Anthony didn't get cracked in the eye and his vision gone. But hey, that's the fight game. Rafael did a great job striking early on, and then most of the fight was him just taking Pettis down, controlling, landing shots. But it wasn't like he just laid and prayed. He set up his takedowns. He wore Pettis down a little bit by striking early on, and then made the takedowns that much more effective. Super impressed by Rafael dos Anjos, and it's so weird to see him as the champion. And that lightweight, if anything, it proves how stacked the lightweight division is and has always been. To see people not like. I thought Anthony Pettis was going to hold on to the belt for a long time, and what, one defense? I think just one defense, and he loses the belt. Same thing with Benson Henderson. I thought that he might stick around for a while. I did think that he lost most of his decisions, but he didn't really seem that beatable. It just the lightweight belt changes hands so much, and it just feels like anybody can come for that strap. There's so many contenders out there. There's just so many matchups that are interesting, and it feels like there's always stuff happening in the lightweight division. That's why it's been my favorite division since probably ever. Maybe light heavyweight back in the Chuck Tito era. But lightweight has always been one of my favorite divisions because it's just so stacked, and there's so many talented fighters. You got guys like Tony Ferguson coming up and Ally Quinta. I mean, these guys are going to be contenders. You got Michael Johnson. It's just mind-blowing how much action is happening in the lightweight division, and I love that division. And this sets up a great fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov against Rafael dos Anjos, or Cowboy Cerrone, but most likely it'll probably be Khabib, who already has a win over Rafael dos Anjos. So this could, and this could just be really interesting. I think Khabib wins that fight, but then again, Rafael had the fight of his life tonight. He put it together so well. Perfect game plan. Took it to Pettis. Pettis offered up nothing really. Cracked Pettis with a couple body shots. Pettis cracked Dos Anjos with a couple body shots as well, but I mean, Pettis' offense was minimal, and Rafael just came in, put pressure, never let Pettis set up his kicks and punches. It was brilliant, and that's what a lot of people said will take to beat Pettis, but it's easier said than done, right? So hats off to Rafael dos Anjos. Great night of fights, guys. I'm out. I was super stoked with the event tonight, and see you guys next time for another predictions video.